Welcome in. We're just waiting for the streamers to land in. The invites have been sent out. Hopefully they'll start joining us any minute. And tonight we're going to be doing the first of what we call the TreeCast. So we're going to get some gamers and streamers in from YouTube, and we're going to sit them down, ask them a few questions, hopefully find you guys decent gamers that you want to watch and follow and stream and hopefully support. And that is the whole emphasis behind this. We are just trying to push the gaming community out and about. Good evening, Andy. How are you keeping, buddy?
Not too bad, man. How are you?
Sure, I can't complain. Can't complain. The fire's stoked up and place is nice and warm and smelling the turf.
Love it. Looks beautiful. Looks beautiful. Do you know what? It looks like a really good setup for the sort of the way the layout is on the screen as well, you know?
It looked perfect there when I saw the multi-guest and I thought, there we go. We can get 8 on either side there. Yeah, and the fire raging in the middle. That's what we like to see.
Beautiful. Love it.
Sneak is in as well. We're just waiting for a few of the others to join us. They might be a few minutes yet, but I told them 1:15. So we can... Sneaky is in.
I'm just going to share this about myself here as well.
Sniff, sniff.
Sniffy's here. We have two. Two of the guests have joined. Welcome in, Stinks. Stinks, meet Andy. I think you've met him before a few times on his podcasts and stuff.
We've spoken, that's for certain.
Yeah, definitely. It's good to see you, man. Hope you're well.
And you? How you doing?
All good, dude. I'm loving this idea, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this first edition goes, you know?
No, I appreciate you all joining in on a new little venture like this, and hopefully it'll help boost viewership for everybody, and we'll go from there. Oh, he's gone.
We lost him.
He's gone. How does he join? How do I invite him? This is all new to me as well, guys. I appreciate it.
Who else is joining?
Shadow is coming in. He might be a bit late though. Simsy is supposed to be in. Who else did I have? Juan might be coming. Again, it depends on him. He says he might be live. He might be asleep. There's somebody else as well. Pidge is supposed to be coming in. Good evening, Siobhan. How are you keeping? Erling has jumped in. He's here. There's a good few people here. We're just waiting on a few people to come in. I can't seem to get Andy back up into the box again. I don't know what's going on.
I invited him.
Maybe he's just had to dash off and do a few bits himself. But no, we are still waiting on...
A nervous poo.
Definitely. That's what I'm sat here doing now. I've just requested again. It's not come up, Andy. Hang on a second, buddy. Let's see. I'm going to cancel the invite and we're going to invite you again. There we go. Has it kicked him out? Evening, Bell. How are you keeping? Nats. We are just having a TreeCast, Nats. It's first of its kind, hopefully. And we're going to get a few gamers in. We're going to be discussing, what it's like to be a gamer, what your favourite games are, what systems you play on, what's your favourite all-time game, biggest disappointments in gaming. So it's just kind of a way for gamers to come together and network and hopefully put their reach out there for a few other people. Nice stove. Ted is flying it, Bell. Really is.
I've sent some invites out.
Still can't. Oh, there we go. Andy's back in. Sorry to leave you hanging there, buddy.
Sorry about that. I literally was putting the link into my Discord and I didn't realize it was going to completely kick me off.
Knock you out altogether.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sure, look, it could have been worse. We could have lost you altogether, buddy. And that have thrown a real spanner into the works.
Oh, for sure.
I'll just wait for a few other guys to come in first before I get this kicked off, because I don't want to be doing stuff in the middle of the stream there.
Muchos apreciado. She didn't have to do that.
No, it's a little bit of something to say thanks for coming in, guys. That's the plan behind it all anyways. Promotion. No worries, Andy.
Remove these filters. Filter comments off.
Filter comments off. Why is there a good few filter comments coming in already?
AI fan decided to say, "Ooh, why is why is Stinks here?" And it got filtered.
Shadow is in. Welcome in, Shadow. I'd say
Heyo.
we'll wait on Simsy and maybe we'll see about Pidge says he could be late anyway. I think there's 4 definites. Tree, you see my message. I did sneaky, yep. About popping in later, maybe. That's no problem, buddy. Well, we'll give him another 3 minutes, and if he's not here by then, we'll just have to. Oh, speak of the devil, look, here he is. Here he is. There's Marie's nice legs just walking past her. She's not used to coming around that way, she says. There we go. Right, so we've got 4 of the 5, and Pidge did say he could be late if he's going to get in anyway. So I think we have pretty much the full panel. But hey ho, if we do, we do. If we don't, we don't. Tease fire. Thanks a million.
Postage.
Right. So we have 4. Simsy is on silent. That's grand. Now Andy agreed to go first, so he's going to be in the hot seat first, and then we'll probably go with Stinks, Simsy, and then we're going to go with Shadow afterwards. Thank you for the hand hearts as well, buddy. So, for everyone that's joining us in from the outside, this is the first ever TreeCast. Hopefully it goes well. And what we're trying to do here is we're just trying to build up a network for gamers to come together, chat, see what they enjoy, see what they don't enjoy, and try and help build a following up for all the gamers out there, because it's a tough grind to break into, especially with streaming. So, it's great to have a place to put your platform out there and, give yourself shout outs and stuff in front of a vast community. And hopefully we'll get some crossover followers going here. People that follow me, Stinks or Simsy, going off to follow Shadow and Andy as well. Andy is behind the camera podcast in the top right. He's going to be taking up the gauntlet first, we'd say. Now, nice, easy questions today. We're not going to go too hard on anybody, especially myself. But no, thanks everyone for joining us, taking the time out on this lovely Thursday evening. And I'd like to invite Andy to come up and sit down in the seat, and we'll ask him a few questions and see how he's getting on.
Thank you very much, Tree. Appreciate you having me on as well, especially for the first TreeCast. Very much looking forward to it.
No problems at all, man. It's great to have you. I mean, especially someone with your caliber in doing podcasts already. It's nice to have somebody in that kind of knows what they're doing.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
No worries. So if you want to give yourself a quick shout out there, tell the people what you're all about, and a quick couple of minutes or something, you take the mic and I'll come in with some questions.
Yeah, sounds good. So, hello everybody. My name's Andy. I go by Behind the Camera Podcast. I used to be Andy Games _94. Used to be a gaming streamer for the better part of about 2 years, on and off, and kind of transitioned into podcasting. Started off interviewing streamers about their gaming journeys, and then moved on to other kind of creatives and innovators. Excuse me. I've been sort of doing like online content, that sort of thing, for about 3 years now. Started off with the speedrun of Mario 64, and here we are now. You can't get me to shut up, basically.
So that's why I do find you with Logan 64 streams and Dan Sutz and Ruffle Yoshi and stuff. You were big into the Mario 64 speedrunning.
Yeah, that was kind of like how I got my start. It was through Logan, actually, because he was like one of the first ever, even like to go as far as even to say streamers that I ever seen, and this was all on TikTok as well. And I never knew, like, I'd only had TikTok for maybe a year or so at this point, but like I never knew it to be like a streaming platform. I think like the lives were only like a sort of more of a recent thing at that point.
Yeah.
And yeah, like that sort of went from TikTok to Twitch, and then just kind of all it sort of all just fell into place like after no time at all.
So you've been around the block, as they do say. You've been around, you've done it all, you've seen it all. So hopefully you've seen worse podcasts than this is going to turn out to be, or TreeCasts even. But hopefully it turns out well.
The fact alone that you've set it up and you're doing it is more than most people. So like I absolutely commend you for that. I truly believe everybody should use their voice in that kind of way and do something like that. And especially with what you were saying about like building up like a network, a community, and just sort of really kind of expanding on what people have and bringing everything together in terms of like community. So honestly, man, it's a fantastic thing what you're doing here.
That's lovely, man. Really kind words from you there, Andy. I appreciate that, buddy. So
Yeah.
we'll jump into the first question I've got for you, and that is kind of what is your gaming system and your games library? What does that kind of consist of? What consoles do you own?
So I go everything from N64. So a lot of the consoles I have, bar the PS5, would be like retro consoles. So I have PS2, N64, GameCube. They would be like the main consoles that I have, and I also like go for PC gaming and PS5 as well. But it started in COVID, where because I was still living at home during COVID, and it was like I ended up with just basically like having money for like the first time, very short lived, of course, but like then I just started collecting. I started collecting more N64 games. Then I started collecting PS2 games. Like my wife got me a PS2 for one of my birthdays, and I just started collecting, and I can't show you right now, but the collection just grew and grew and grew, and it's still nice to go back to and sort of hook up and play again. But yeah, the main consoles that I own: N64, GameCube, and PS2.
Lovely. So that kind of brings me back around then. You're talking retro consoles and stuff that you play. Can you remember like what game kind of got you hooked on gaming? What got you really into it?
um, Mario 64. To be quite honest with you, that was the very first game. That was like because as far back as memory serves me, I want to say it was like 97, 98 or something. Like me and my brothers got an N64 with Mario 64 and GoldenEye for Christmas, and like that's like one of my like earliest like memories, especially when it comes to gaming. And so like that was like the very first game I ever played, like that, and obviously other ones in the N64 catalog.
That kind of era, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that was like I think that kind of like set the stage, because something that I'm the types of games I'm really into are like open world and platformers. So I kind of think that was like the baseline for me from like SM64, because then you have like Banjo Kazooie, for example, is another probably a close second for me, to be quite honest with you. Probably a very close second.
It sounds like you've hit the nail on the head there. I mean, Super Mario 64 is my all-time favorite. I know Simsy is a huge Banjo Kazooie fan. So yeah, we're all in the same kind of area there with regards to favorite games. So it's great to hear, like that these classics they're still doing well, and they're still inspiring people to get gaming. It's unreal.
Oh, for sure. 100%. 100%.
So Mario 64 kind of got you hooked into the game, and it got you interested in it. But obviously, a long time has passed since Mario 64 was released. So would you say you've got another all-time favorite game? And why would it be your favorite game? It could be Mario 64. I'm not going to hold you against it, but
Oh no, for sure. But do once upon a time I would have said Mario 64, but I somewhat controversially, I think the speedrunning aspect of it almost ruined it for me. But like I still love it and all, but like I think it just sort of whenever I went to like other games, I was able to like appreciate them more, because I spent so much time playing this like one game that I played sporadically over 25 plus years, to then just kind of getting the rest of that 25 years of it's worth. Um, but favorite game of all time. This is a random one. This is one that I go back to like every so many years, and it's like it just is to me. I love it. It's very random, but Rayman Revolution, which for those who don't know, that's the remake to Rayman 2, The Great Escape. That was the PS2 version. I had it as a kid. I just loved it. I loved the sort of open world aspect of it, even though it's still a linear game at the same time. And being able to go back and you know, you didn't have to like 100% it to complete the game, but 100% it is still to this day something I've never accomplished. But I love it. I kind of feel like it's a game that has a decent amount of replayability.
That's what that's kind of what you want from a game at the end of the day, isn't it? The ability to go back and still kind of fall in love with the game and be able to play it time and time and time again.
100%. Absolutely. Yeah. It's yeah, because I think with the sort of I don't want to say the state of gaming now, but like there's a lot of it where sometimes I kind of feel like, and this is a whole other conversation altogether, but like I'll sort of briefly touch on this, but at the moment I kind of feel like there's a lot of games that are solely made just for streaming, for like that kind of initial few month boost of sales, and then kind of, so then it gets popular on Twitch and TikTok and etc. etc. But
It's quiet
these
lull
games,
again after.
yeah, exactly. And I don't really. I feel like, I mean, the replayability, I guess, is still there, and obviously with when you have games with DLCs, it kind of adds to it, makes it so you can continue to go back to it. But um, no, but man, like when you look at like the retro things, and a lot of them still have decent replayability, because I think it's to do with the fact that they are quite short in a really kind of strange way.
Well, games back then. They were meant to be short, weren't they? Because like there was no save cartridges, there was no save states. You either played it and you beat it, or you started again from the very beginning. The next time you played it,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it was one of those things where you had to do it all in one go, or leave your console on overnight and pick it up the next day.
I think we've all done that growing up now. The parents giving out to us there, why the fuck is the TV on and why is this? Oh, sorry, mammy, I don't want to lose my lives. And yeah. So we've talked about like games that, really brought you into gaming and got you hooked into it. We've talked about your favorite game. Now, we're going to flip the script altogether here, and I want to know, what's the biggest flop game that you've ever played? So one, that's really been hyped up, or one you've really looked forward to. You've played it and then you've thought, oh, why did I bother?
Oh man, like another wild card here, but 1080 snowboarding on the N64. So this game, like this was whenever I started like collecting, like during COVID, right? And I had like a lot of people say to me, oh yeah, 1080 snowboarding, it was really, really good. It was, this, that, and the other. It was just almost like revolutionary for the N64. And I was just like, okay, but I mean, I don't really know. I took it with a pinch of salt and all, but like I heard enough people kind of say that, and even since I tried it and then immediately sold it because it was that bad, people have still said it's really good. I'm just like, I do not get it. It was like a snowboarding game but with tank controls, and I have an absolute disdain for tank controls, which is so again somewhat controversial, but I don't think so. I think they absolutely suck. But yeah, man, I know it's such a random one, but 1080 snowboarding, that for me was just, it was like pulling teeth.
That was the one that kind of almost made you put the controller down full time and say, listen, it's not even worth it.
But yeah, like it was just as well that I wasn't like a streamer or anything at that point, because if I was, I would have just been like, no, games like this exist. I'm done. I'm out, never again.
I'm never picking up a
Hang on the headset
controller.
here, and that's me.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, that's a game that you don't really hear too much stuff about either. The 1080. It's one of them that probably did get forgotten. Being an N64 title, there's so many competitors to go up against. Like we say, Mario 64. There's the Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, F-Zero X, and like you say, that was probably one of the first proper snowboarding games, really, I suppose, of its time. I think there was another one on the N64 as well. Or am I wrong?
I mean, I think the closest thing I could think of at the same time would have been like Wave Racers, but like I know that's a little bit different. It's obviously like on water, but there was SSX on the PlayStation as well, which,
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, SSX Tricky, wasn't it?
well, yeah, SSX Tricky was like a few years after, but that was, yeah, that's what 1080 should have been basically.
That hit the bar. That
Yeah,
that kind of,
yeah, I could go back and like, it might not be the same as what I remember 20 years ago, but it probably will still be playable and pretty good altogether.
there we go. That's kind of just put that issue to bed there. I mean, you've hit the flop and put it to bed, and you'll never play it again.
Oh yeah. I mean, I listed it back on eBay, like, almost quicker than I bought it. Like, I think I put it on for like a quid because I just wanted rid of it that much.
You'll
The
take the loss. You'll
postage
even pay
cost
for
more.
postage and packaging at that rate. Like, just get it gone.
More or less put it back in the same box that I got it in and just sort of like resell it. And I was like, nah, get this away from me. Like,
So then, what games are you most looking forward to coming out? Like, I mean, obviously you don't want a 1080 snowboarding to come out or a part two to that unless it's absolutely brilliant. But what are you looking forward to, coming out in the future? Anything that's already been spoken about, or any games that maybe you'd want to see a remake or a sequel made from?
well, so like, I mean, obviously we've covered that I am not much of a modern gamer, but that being said, the new 007 game and the new Wolverine game both look incredible. I'm kind of really excited to check them out. But in terms of like, say, like remakes or anything like that, the remake one is a very interesting one because um, being a big fan of Banjo Kazooie, like for the guts of 25 years, so many people have said about a sequel to that or a remake, and I can tell you now firsthand that like I know that it's not happening. The people are there, but it's just simply not happening. But that would be, I would love to see like a third game done like in the exact same style. I would love to see I would love to see a third Banjo Kazooie that like is not like nuts and bolts, but is, it's basically one for Switch, like a Banjo Kazooie game for Switch. But again, unfortunately, like it's something that I just know is not going to happen unless we get some major surprise at the next Nintendo Direct where it turns out that Rare have been acquired again by Nintendo, and there we go. But like again, I'm no insider.
It'd be great to see now because, like that, I've spent hours myself playing Banjo Kazooie, and yeah, it's a great game. I never actually got around to playing Banjo and Tooie, to be fair.
So,
So I do have that on the emulator, so I will be giving it a go at some stage.
it's a totally
100%.
different game. It's a total like it's really really good. I still prefer Kazooie. Tui is very good. It's very dark, but it's very good. But there's a lot of backtracking. But it again, like it's still it's probably the perfect sequel to what the first one was.
And that's what you want from a sequel. You want it to kind of marry up and hit the spot, and
Yeah.
be that playable game that you enjoy and you remember from the first time around.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like it still keeps the core elements of the first one, and yeah, no, it's yeah. I think in terms of sequels, that one was like perfectly nailed that.
That's what we love to see, and that's what we love to hear. So that kind of brings me around onto my final question for you, Andy. The final question of the evening, which is for you, what makes a game perfect? What kind of just hits the spot, style, graphics wise, playability? What is it that makes it good for you?
Um, so kind of touched on it before, but replayability is a huge thing for me. Like because I love going back to even if it's been a few months, I would love to go back to a game and complete it again. Open world for me is like ideal. Now, not to say, I do love linear games and all this, but like open world, my particular favorite because I love causing like havoc wherever I can that's completely non-story based. Like like for example, if I ever played like GTA, like Vice City or something like that, I would never have done any of the missions, or maybe I would have done one mission every couple of hours, and excuse me, I would have maybe just went around just shooting people or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, you get
Or doing
like, yeah,
things.
there's only so
Yeah,
many times you can hop to the strip club, isn't there? I mean, come on.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. And side quests is also a very kind of think good thing for me because I do love a good story mode, but I'm such a completionist that the side quests do just like hook me in no matter what the games. And you mentioned graphics as well. Like I'm very much into the sort of like the sort of Unreal Engine type sort of graphics. I am a big fan of them. Like the whole almost like hyper realistic in some aspects, and like I like that just from like a sort of picturesque kind of point of view. But for me, it kind of when it comes to graphics, it just has to kind of um, complement the platform that it's on. So like if you're playing something on like a brand new like the latest console, then the graphics have to be good. But then if it's like a case where you're playing like a 50p game on Steam, then you don't mind if it's crap. Like you know what I mean. You don't mind if the graphics are a bit
As simply
silly with
partner would say, a bit janky.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't mind. Yeah, so I think it depends on the game, but I mean, I know, I know that was a lot of waffle, but that kind of would be that's the sort of things I like in a game.
So if someone's out there listening now and trying to think of a game for Andy, there you go. Get building. Open world replayability. The graphics is not too bothered, depending on the price line. So any devs that are out there watching and listening, be taking notes.
Yep, 100%.
You've definitely got someone there to purchase from. Now, your actual page itself, Andy, is kind of more aimed at podcasts and the likes of that. You don't really stream anymore now, do you? It's kind of gone by the wayside, would say. Or do you still stream on a different app? Or
No, I do the occasional live here, but no, I haven't done a gaming stream in about 6 months, kind of. But then even before that, like we're closer to a year. So it's really been to the point where I decided that I was just done with it, really. To be quite honest, yeah, but like it's something that will always be a part of me because of where I am today.
that's it. The games have brought us up. They've raised us, for want of a better way of putting it. Like we've grown up with games. They've made us into the people that we are by what we've played. What we've gone through. We've gone through these journeys with these characters, whether it be Mario, Banjo, Sonic, Link, any of the other thousands and thousands out there. So it kind of has shaped us and molded us to be who we are.
Definitely, 100% agree.
And congratulations as well to yourself for just dropping your 100th podcast. So you've hit a century of podcasts, which is absolutely unreal.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Yeah, it's so crazy to be in triple digits right now, I have to say.
Well, the next big milestone for you now would be 1,000. So you're going to keep grinding, I'm sure, and hopefully you'll pick up another few streamers here that you could always interview along the way and build up from there.
Of course, yeah, and it's something that I'm from like roughly around the end of the summer. I'm going to start integrating back into the podcast just once I kind of get through my current schedule and it starts to clear up a little bit. That's going to be the plan, to start integrating streamers back in and just kind of go back to what it was, and I feel like what it really should be as well.
Back to the bare bones.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, I mean, it's kind of seeing some of your stuff kind of put the thoughts into my head about getting this going. I know you kind of, like you say, you was interviewing all kinds of people from different aspects and stuff. So I just thought, why not do something for the gamers? And here we are. And you know what? It's great. It's great to have yourself and the other guys that have jumped on the panel this evening at such short notice as well. I might add, guys, it's really, really appreciated. So, if anybody is out there and they're looking for a good old podcast to watch and listen to, I mean, you can hear Andy has got a lovely Irish accent on him. You could fall asleep listening to him, guys. So, do please drop him a follow. Behind the Camera podcast up in the top right corner there. I'm sure he'd appreciate every follow he gets. I'd like to thank you for coming along tonight, Andy, and answering all these questions for the few people that we have here watching. It's been a privilege.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Really, really appreciate it. And yeah, congrats on getting this started as well, man. For real.
No, cheers, man. Cheers. Hopefully, it's something that we can make work between us all here in the gaming community, and fingers crossed we can keep pushing it.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it.
No problems, buddy. I mean, if you want to stay there in the box and whatever, and then people can keep following, we'll keep plugging you at the end as well. Everyone will get a shout out at the end. If you need to dash off, feel free, buddy. It's entirely up to yourself.
I'll stay in, maybe. Yeah. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Perfect. Thanks a million, Andy. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Well, that's Andy, guys, from Behind the Camera podcasts. So he's chimed in there with some great answers really to the questions we had for him. And put a lot of questions into my mind about, what kind of games I've missed out on over the years and growing up and what I should be revisiting. Um, Now then, we shall call on Simsy. Are you there, Simsy?
Howdy, howdy.
He is. He is in. How are you going, buddy? You well?
Yeah, I feel like that's a tough act to follow. So
Well, you see, he's a
to be
professional.
second.
He's a professional, like, so that's kind of gave you all time to be taking notes and thinking, right, I need to be talking like
Yeah,
this and saying that.
I forgot my notepad. That's the same thing. Like I didn't write anything down.
I've got my notes here after you said to me on my stream this morning, write it down. That's what I did this afternoon. Always listen to Simsy.
Always listen to Simsy.
No, it was great to catch the back end. Well, see the back end. I caught a good bit of your stream and then kind of lost out. I was helping another streamer there trying to sort his text to speech, so I didn't see the final. How did you get on? Were you
No,
close
it was
to
good. Yeah, it was. We yeah, and it got the stars we needed. Struggled with the others. Always the same.
like we always do, sure. That's the way we like to roll as gamers. We're sucker for punishment, aren't
Yeah, really are. Yeah, really.
we? So I'm going to do the same with you there, Simsy. If you want to take it away for a couple of minutes, tell the people about yourself, tell people what you're about, what you're into. Keep it PG, though. There are kids probably watching, so you take the seat, my
Yeah,
friend.
I'm really bad at talking about myself. So I'm really sorry in advance. But yeah, I'm Simsy or Simon, whatever you prefer to call me. I've been doing TikTok streaming now and Twitch streaming for about a year and a half, regularly ish. I used to make YouTube videos. I want to go back into that. And I've been gaming since I've been about 4 years old. So do love a video game or two. And I'm 33 tomorrow. So
Well, we'll have to get a happy birthday on the stream tomorrow for Simsy, definitely.
yeah.
Will you be doing a birthday live? That's the question.
No, I think the wife has got plans for me tomorrow. So
Well, I hope she's got plans for you. Definitely. Especially the 33.
yeah, well, yeah,
The big
angel
33.
numbers.
That's it. You're getting up in the age. You're nearly catching me up now. One day
I think
you'll
that's
be
how
there.
age works.
I sure it will do one day when I'm in the ground.
I don't think I'll be. Yeah, that's fair.
Right then. So that's Simsy, everyone. I've been streaming alongside Simsy and friends with him now for close to a year, on and offline. I've really enjoyed the
And my
content
wife.
he's put out, and between himself and Stinks, who will also be on in a little while, they've kind of nurtured me on the way to streaming, helping me out, telling me what's good, what's not so good, helping me through endless dungeons on Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and currently the Wind Waker. So yeah, Simsy's really been an integral part, really, alongside Stinks, of kind of having the confidence to come on and try and push something like this and try and bring it out for everybody. So yeah, I want to thank you, Simsy, for being there and helping me along the way. It's much appreciated, mate. It really is.
Thank you for always being there as well.
Sure, we support each other, man. That's what we do here. This is the community we built, and I'm here. I'm here for you all. So
I love the fireplace as well. I'm loving the vibes of the fireplace.
I just thought it might be cold for some people this evening, so I'll bring a toasty aspect to it. But I think I might have to fill it up with some timber shortly just to keep the flames going.
I thought Luke thought I was older than 33. I don't know how to feel about that.
Maybe when you were 17, you'd have taken it as a compliment, but nah. You kind of want to start feeling a bit younger, don't you?
Yeah. Wow.
So we'll hop in with the first question of the night for you then, Simsy, and that is the same as what Andy had, mate. And what's your gaming systems and what's your gaming library look like? What's the chunk of games there you've got?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, I've been kind of like just mindlessly collecting games for a while. So I have Nintendo 64, Nintendo Wii, and the Wii U, a Switch 1, a Switch 2. I got an Xbox 360. I've got a 3DS. I got rid of a lot of consoles that I didn't really use when I moved in with Steph because we didn't have a lot of space. So I kind of tried to not shrink down, but I guess kind of like condense my my library a little bit. So rather than having like games on like 3 different consoles, I would try and find the best ones that would fit me. So I could, I'd only have to have like 4 or 5 consoles to play the games, and it's not really worked because I'm doubling up again. So I've started doubling up on games. That's the thing is like I'll go into CEX sometimes. I'll see if a game's under £5, I'll just buy it just for the sake of having it sometimes, because you never know what you might enjoy playing. I don't really get around to playing them that much, but I do have them now, and I've just got an overflowing cupboard of video games at this point. Just
Well, the amount of games,
too much.
the amount of games you've told me. Well, I say the amount. I know I think you've told me too that you've bought the games, you've had them since new, and they're still in the packaging, yet to be played.
Yeah, I've still got a few. I've still got Shadow of the Colossus and Medieval on PS4. Bought them brand new when they first released, and they're still unopened. Just haven't got around to playing them yet. And I do that a lot. I bought a game last year on Star Wars Day, which was a Star Wars game for the. It was Pod Racers for the N64. Haven't played it yet.
Well,
Just sitting there for a year.
when you finally do get to play it, you'll feel great about it. The suspense is built up, and you'll just immerse yourself. Hopefully.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the hope.
That's the hope. That's the hope for all gamers, really. Either that, or it'll just skyrocket in value, and you could be able to sell it and pay for your house in a few years' time as well.
To be fair, I've done that a few times as well recently. I think I had Futurama for the PS2, and it didn't really appeal to me that much, so I ended up selling it for like £30. Bought it for like a tenner. So, it's not a crazy amount difference, but some of these games you just don't know what's going to go up in value.
Well, that's it. Like I'm seeing in the comments there, you look in CX's window and you see some PS1 games, some old retro games could be going for £200 or £300, and you're thinking, how?
Yeah,
The game when it came out brand new was only 20 or 30. But it just goes to show, like, there is money in gaming, and people are willing to spend money on retro titles and consoles.
I think the most amazing thing about game collecting is the games that are worth the most are the worst games. They're never the best games. So you would think, like, your Legend of Zeldas and your Marios or whatever's, Call of Duties or whatever people think is the best game out there would be these top tier, top value games. But actually, there's like a game that's Snow White and the Seven Clever Boys is a PS2 game that is like £350 because nobody wanted it at the time. And now it's so desired because people like, have you ever heard of JonTron, the YouTuber?
Yeah.
So he made a video on it a while ago. And then that sort of like inflates its popularity, and then people want it because of people like him. And then it's impossible to get at this point. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's the games that are really like high value are never the best games. So if you see a game that's really expensive, don't buy it because don't expect it to be good.
Stay away from it.
But like a good example as well is like Skyrim, for example. Everyone's heard of Skyrim. That's arguably one of the better games of our generation, and you can get it for like £1 in CEX. It's like everyone had it. So it's so easy to grab hold of, but it's one of the best games you can play.
There you go. You heard it here first, guys, from Simsy himself. Grab that game. Because
grab
always
it if it's bad.
Always listen to Simsy.
If you buy a game and it's really bad, just keep hold of it. Just never get rid of it.
Again.
Yeah, it will do you good in the future.
I just need to rewind a couple of seconds there and thank Red for sending an absolutely crazy gift into the chat. He just sent a gaming chair even. Gaming tree, Jesus. That's shouting myself out there. Thanks a million, Red, if you're still here, man. That's much appreciated, buddy. Sorry to cut across you there, Simsy. I had to say it because that was unreal.
Would you say that's much appreciado?
I can't do that, unfortunately. I've been informed by Stinks as copyright lawyers that I'm not allowed to say that anymore. It's a trademark. It's been trademarked. There, look, the angry face is already there. So then we'll move on to question 2 for you, mate. And that's, what game got you into gaming? What got you hooked?
It's kind of a weird one because there's not like one particular game. So when I was really young, my parents bought a Nintendo 64, which is the Nintendo 64 I still have now. But they bought it for me and my brother, and obviously for them. And they got Mario 64, GoldenEye, Legend of Zelda, and Banjo-Kazooie as the first 4 games that we had. I guess they just wanted to have a library when they first got it. They had variety.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to be like, oh, it was Mario 64 was the game that got me into gaming because I had a selection of games straight from the get go. Um, I almost had like that variety. Then that was, I think that's also part of the reason people like gaming is one day you can be a plumber who's jumping on a whatever a Cooper,
Fine.
wherever I don't actually know what Bowser is, a dragon kind of thing. Next day
Yeah.
you can be like a military operative fighting the Russians or whatever.
And the day after,
It's
you can be a
just
bear being carried around by a bird. It's
exactly, yeah. And so I had great variety from the start. Um, Maybe not with Banjo and Mario; they're very similar, although similar but also different. But with having like GoldenEye as well, and also Zelda, like I consider all four of those some of the best games that have ever been created, and I know that's a lot of nostalgia that goes into that. But yeah, I probably them four I owe a lot to.
well, I know you said that like kind of you are a platformer pretty much solely. We'd say that's the game. That's what you jam to. So you can thank Mario for that. And like you say, I know Banjo is Banjo your all-time favorite. You say, mind
I
you,
would. I think it is. I still think it is when I think about my all-time favorite. It's not just like Mario. I do love because it's like a very tight platformer. Even Mario 64 was quite tight. And when they designed Mario, they designed his moveset before they designed levels around him. So that's why a lot of it feels quite tight, but the levels can sometimes look quite odd and different. Like
yeah, that's
sometimes they
what
do
allows
just look
these
like platforms.
speed runners to like kind of be as good as they are because, like you say, his jumps are just so precise. You kind of know where he's going to be going, where he's going to be going. It was just made well. It was a solid game. It really was.
Yeah, exactly. But
But a
Banjo Kazooie was the other end of the spectrum. Like it's I mean it's more about collecting than it is about platforming. And the music plays such a big part of it. The atmosphere, the characters, the way that characters talk to you and interact with each other. It's a whole different kind of experience. And I think it's that package as a whole is what I like about Banjo Kazooie.
feels like a full game for you. Like, yeah, I know where you're coming from. The music, you'd recognise it anywhere as well, especially the introduction. The banjos
Oh
going
yeah,
and Bumbo's on the
all of it.
drums. I think that's only really matched by DK64's rap. Them two are just, yeah. You think about childhood nostalgia music for games, and them two just they hit the spot. Well, for me anyway,
I think
personally.
I think the other one that really hits the spot music wise would be Ocarina of Time. And I know obviously it's very focused on music as it is, but even songs that you don't play, like Gerudo Valley, you play Gerudo Valley, I think anyone will just recognize that tune. You play that
Here
like
and
the
there.
salesman shop, people know exactly like where they are.
Gerudo Valley, every time you jump off the aeroplane and you're in a foreign country, you kind of get that Gerudo Valley feeling going there, the maracas and the Spanish kind of vibe going in the background. It is, yeah. I mean, a lot of the Lord of the Rings, sorry, a lot of the Legend of Zelda titles do have very, very good music, especially the three that I'm playing at the minute, Ocarina, Majora's, and Wind Waker. They do have great soundtracks to them, which you can't deny. Like it's a big part of having a successful game. Would you agree? Or
No, I think for sure. I mean, I think like one of the reasons like I would shout out about Mario Galaxy so much is because it feels like this great epic adventure, and one of the biggest parts of that because there's not a lot of talking in Mario Galaxy, and there's it's not a lot of spectacle. There's enough, but the music is a fully orchestrated music, and I think because of the music, it feels so grand. If you put like Mario 64 music over Galaxy, I don't think you would feel like it was as grand.
I know what you're saying. Like there's that kind of build up. You get to the Bowser level, and there's kind of that dramatic. Da, 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 da. And the further you get into the level, it kind of plays up, and then there's just an explosion towards the end of joyous kind of. I don't know if it's joyous. How would you describe it?
It's a
Hmm.
very cinematic experience, I feel, but I think it's so driven by the music.
It is. It is. You could say that definitely. So it is cinematic, 100%. So I think we've kind of touched on this one. Your favorite game of all time and why. Not just the one that got you into gaming, but your favorite game of all time, any console. Hit me.
Yeah, it still probably is Banjo Kazooie, to be honest. I mean, and that's so much that is nostalgia, and I'm fully aware of the nostalgia factor in there. there are other games that I've loved that are nothing like it, like Red Dead Redemption. That has me in tears nearly every time I watch the end of Red Dead Redemption.
Poor
So
fella. No
there's
matter
like
how
that
many bad
emotion.
guys you shoot, like he's still going to die. It's
Yeah, exactly. And you know it's coming, but you're so attached to him by the end of it.
you are,
And there's not a lot of games I can say that made me feel that way. So I could argue that's one of my favorite games. I could argue like Fallout 3 is one of my favorite games because despite the size of it, I've played that numerous times over and over. But at the end of the day, I go back to Banjo Kazooie. Like Banjo Kazooie and Ocarina of Time, I play minimum once a year, every year, and I'm not even sure why at this point.
well, look, it's because you've got that attachment to the games. Like we've all got an attachment to one game. There's always at least one. Some people like yourself have more. I could say that there's definitely Ocarina, Mario 64 for me. I do love Banjo, especially now I've got the emulator to go back into it. Sometimes you can't just pick one. It's hard, especially with the variety
It
that we
really
have.
is, yeah, for sure. There is some great variety out there these days.
So now we'll go on to another question there that kind of surprised me with Andy, and that was, what game's been the biggest disappointment to you? The biggest flop you've ever had? You built yourself up, and then the fuck am I doing?
I'll be honest. You're not going to be surprised, and if you are surprised, Tree, you don't know me very well. So there is a game. There is a game out there called Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. And let me tell you something. People will say to me, "Oh, should I play Nuts and Bolts?" No, do not play Nuts and Bolts. If you like Banjo Kazooie, if you like yourself, do not play Nuts and Bolts. This game infuriates me. Absolutely. I tried playing it recently. I tried playing it for a YouTube video actually, and I was like, "Oh, maybe it's not as bad as I remember. Maybe it'll be much better because I'm not going into it with this mindset of I want this platformer type experience." No, it's terrible. It's so bad. Like they just basically the problem with Banjo Kazooie, and it started with Tui and it kind of expanded with Nuts and Bolts, is rather than working towards limitations, which I think is what made Banjo Kazooie so good, is they realized with Tui they can make the worlds bigger, but they didn't really know what to fill it with. So Banjo Tui feels a little bit empty at places because they spread out so much and there's a lot of backtracking. And then Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, the devs themselves literally said, "Well, the worlds are so big, it would take too long for you to walk across it. That's why they added cars into it." But they don't have to make worlds to the size that they can physically make them to. They don't have to make these open giant worlds because they're just empty worlds.
That's it. You'd rather have a
And they
great
just
level that's kind of compact, full of puzzles, full of challenges that you could just hit.
exactly. Because games have done it right. I mean, Breath of the Wild is similar. It's a big open world, and sometimes you can be walking through it, and it feels like there's nothing to do. That's one of the reasons they added Korok seeds into the game. But yeah, I prefer tighter, smaller experiences, which is why I think I'm enjoying 3D World so much at the moment. It's a very tight experience.
There we
It's
go.
very like niched out more.
So there you go. If devs are listening, don't make a huge map and don't fill it. If you're going to make a huge map, give us a few side quests. Give us
Yeah, it needs to be densely packed out. So densely packed out.
And I find
That's
that
why I
more
think.
with...
Oh, sorry.
Carry on.
I was gonna say that's why I think that I like Skyrim, even though it's big, is because it's so dense. I don't know if you've ever played Skyrim. It's
I've not played it myself, but I have been around people while they have been playing it, and you can go a couple of meters and you're into a different side quest, or
exactly.
you could be going
There's
right
so
across
much
into.
going on.
There is a lot going on.
They really packed that game out. It's really you can like I say you can go somewhere. There's a quest. Sometimes there's quests that are unmarked quests, which means it's just people just it's just like a minute. It's not even a full quest. Unmarked quest means it doesn't tell you what you need to do, what the next steps are. It just happens. You pick up the story from the game. And there's a lot of those in Skyrim, and there's a lot of just little elements to the world to look at and be like, oh, this is cool. Like I once found a cabin in the game, and there's a book inside that's all about the cabin being haunted. I read the book for whatever reason because I was just interested. Inside a game, I was reading a book, and you're reading it like, yeah, it's just like that's what you need. And I think Breath of the Wild doesn't do it. I mean, it doesn't do it to an amazing extent. It does feel a little bit empty sometimes. Apparently, that's what their goal was to leave you with the emptiness at points. But I think what that ends up doing is you just end up fast traveling because you don't really want to constantly be traveling in emptiness. And I think that's also if you play Red Dead Redemption 2, same issue. It's so empty in the world. It's so big but empty. You need to densely pack these games out.
Being what I'm like, I just like hunting animals on the way across, but that's just me. That was
Yeah,
kind of
fair
what I
enough.
did to fill time across, like you say, going from mission to mission. That was it, Red Dead and Breath of the Wild. But I suppose at least you're getting something from it, whether it be pelts or meat. You're getting something.
See, my problem is that I would be trying to complete every side quest and every main quest, and then if you start, riffling off onto these miniature do whatever you want sort of things, start hunting, it's gonna take you hours. It's gonna take you so long. I think I played 80 hours of that game and I still didn't finish it.
I'd say I'm not far behind you, and I definitely have 100%ed it yet. I've completed the game, but not the side quests and stuff. Nowhere close. So
Yeah,
going forward, then, Simsy, like, what kind of games are you hoping are going to be released, or sequels or remakes? I'm sure you're
do you know what?
hoping it's Lord of the.
I've been trying to think about this question for a while because obviously you sent me the list of questions you're going to ask, and I just can't think of games that I'm genuinely excited for at the moment. I've obviously trailed back into more older games and trying out games that I didn't try out first time round, like 3D World. I mean, there is that rumor of the Zelda remake. That would be great.
Fingers
That's,
crossed.
yeah, exactly. Stinks has already said it. So the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake would be fun. Is it necessary? I don't know. I don't know if I'm that excited because I could just play Ocarina of Time right now on about 5 different consoles. So it's hard to be like, oh yeah, I can't wait to play it again another way. But it's probably the closest I am excited to a new game at the moment.
You kind of hope that if they did bring personally, I hope that they'd bring it back with, a bit of new style play to it, keeping the original story, maybe added a bit more. Me and Stinks have spoken about this before, where maybe bringing Majora's Mask into it a little bit, because he said to me that was supposed to be DLC originally for the Ocarina of Time, and it ended up being that big, they had to make it a separate game, So with the limitations they have now on games, they could quite easily bring the two together and give you a full-on Ocarina
I
of
think
Time.
it would still be a separated experience because it does kind of work as one experience if you wanted it to be. But I do think there are going to be people out there that will want to do a full Ocarina of Time experience and not have to then play Majora's Mask. Because as much as like me and you like Majora's Mask,
Not
Majora's
everybody.
Mask actually isn't one of the more popular ones. It's actually one of the kind of middle tier kind of ones a lot of people consider it.
I'm not going to lie. Before I did the replay there not long ago, I won't go as far as to say detested the game, but I didn't really want to play it. I hated it growing up with the time constraints and stuff on the game and not knowing where to go and rushing around. It made the game hard to play. But someone says, "Oh, you can slow time down." Oh, brilliant! Yeah, we'll slow
Yeah,
time
I
down.
can't believe you didn't know that one.
Should have listened to the guy there at the bottom of the telescope, shouldn't I? The scarecrow.
The Scarecrow, yeah, he tells you all
Jack.
about it.
Good old Jack. He'd have told me. Oh well, sure. Look, you live and learn, and now I know I can go back. I can play the game again in my own time, off stream, and actually enjoy it. So yeah,
There are things in that game that, again, like I say about densely packed games, there are things in that game that you wouldn't know are there unless you go out looking for them because they're not part of the actual game. Like if you go to Romani Ranch on the third night when the moon's about to crash, the sister's given the younger sister like the special quote unquote alcoholic milk so that she won't feel the effects of the moon crashing down. It's quite a dark thing to realize has happened, but unless you actually went to Romani Ranch at the time when you wouldn't normally be there, you would never know that was the case.
There's so many ways to play that game, isn't there? You've only got
There's-
3
there's
days.
that's what I mean. There's so much to it.
Yeah, you've only got 3 days, but there's so much you do in them 3 days, over and over
Yeah.
again. Admittedly. So
I think the cycle of that game is somebody completed it fully in 4 cycles total. Like they tried to see the minimum amount you could do it in. I think it was 4. So
that's crazy. That is absolutely someone that's completed the game 4 cycles is unreal. It really is.
it
You could
really
see
is.
how they could do it. You could see it like a temple per day, well, per cycle, and the side quest if you were good enough to get them in, which you're going to have to be good now. Let's not doubt anything. But finding all the other masks and stuff in between is just, yeah.
It's a lot of careful planning beforehand. It's a lot of planning.
I'd say so. No, his little sheets and stuff must have all been there at the side of the TV. Go from here to here to here to here. Grab this, grab that. Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't like to have been him now. Definitely not. So that kind of brings me on to my final question for you, then, Simsy, and that's what makes a game perfect for you.
Oh, do you know what? As much as I say, yeah, densely packed, I don't think it is always that, because I think if you look at everyone, most people's favorite games, like if you look at like Ocarina, or if you look at even more modern games, like some of the things that people love about these games are actually the issues of them as well, like the I'm trying to think what they're called, exploits, things like that. And like I say, one of mine, like Fallout's full of them. It's full of little bugs, little graphical glitches, things like that. And I actually think that the imperfections are kind of what make these games kind of perfect sometimes. Like, yeah, I like tight controls. I like well-designed platforms. I like I like good music to the game. I like sometimes a good story. But I also think seeing that human side of it, finding a little Easter egg put in by the devs, it just makes all the difference, getting that human side of it. And I think that kind of goes on to what podcast was saying as well, with, you know, games these days, they feel like they're made with the purpose of obviously making money more than with like the player in mind.
Yeah.
And I think like a perfect game these days, I don't think there is like a one size fits all perfect game, but just a game that shows that there is some love and care gone into it is kind of all I ask for these days.
It's thought about the end user, like they think, what do the people that are going to be into this game want from this game? Because we all want different things. Like, that's part of being human.
Exactly, yeah.
So the fact that they've actually sat down and thought, right, so what is Simsy 101 going to want from this Legend of Zelda game? You know, it's going to want a nice tight space with plenty of stuff to do. We're going to build that, and not just rock and roll with, because we can stick in 3 miles worth of, you know, mountain walks, we're going to stick that in.
Yeah, and I think a lot of games these days, they're so focused on how can we exploit this game, and, you know, how can we add microtransactions into this game, and how can we monetize this game in other ways. They do forget about the reason they're making the games in the first place, and the purpose of what it is, like the actual fun elements of the game.
The game itself, something to get us all going. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that brings me to the end of my questions there, Simsy. So, you know, I want to say thanks for coming along to the first ever TreeCast and being on the panel. You know, it's been great. You've opened our eyes to a little bit more in-depth side of Simsy 101, and, you know, what makes you tick. Marie's
I appreciate you having me. I appreciate you doing this as well, Tree. Like, I think you as a person, you do a lot for like us and as a community and us as a group. So I think we just appreciate you so much as well.
No, I appreciate that, mate. I really do. But, you know, it's been great to come along and meet you guys, and, you know, come on the journeys with you that you have, because that's what gaming's all about, isn't it? We pick up somewhere in a journey, and we find quest members. We go off in a guild. We team up and kick some ass. So hopefully that's what we're going to aim to do here. So no, I do appreciate that, man. I really do. But, you know, we're all in it together. So we're only as strong as our weakest link.
That's true. Yeah, and I mean, you're interviewing our weakest link last, I think. So
I think he was the one that was hiding there, and Shadow says he doesn't mind going third. So we'll definitely,
yeah, exactly.
We'll see. Does Shadow want to go? So yeah, guys, if you're not following already, that was Simsy 101. I'd encourage you to drop him a follow. He's a big platformer. He's into his Mario, into his Legend of Zelda. He's kind of sold you his story there. And, you know, I'd encourage you to drop him a follow, give him a like, and definitely try and catch one of his live one of his live streams one time. I know you kind of go 2 or 3 times a week. You don't really have a set routine for streaming. It's usually Tuesdays and Thursdays. And maybe a day at the weekend, I think, sometimes a Saturday or Sunday. And it's usually around about 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. So yeah, guys, please do drop all these great guys a follow. It's really appreciated that they're here this evening. Now, I'm just going to pause for 2 seconds while I stick another log onto the fire to keep that lovely fire going. Shadow, do you want to unmute your mic, my friend, and join us in the hot seat?
Have.
How are you keeping, Shadow? Are you well?
Yeah, I'm keeping well, brother.
Lovely
Been working.
stuff. Been working, that's what we like to hear. Working hard or hardly working?
A bit of both, really, buddy.
Bit of both. Well, can't fault you for trying, can you?
No, not really.
So, it's great to have you on. You're fairly new into the community, Shadow, to be honest. I think I've only known you probably less than a month now. And I've been into a good few of your streams. Very charismatic. You do like to mix it up with different titles and stuff, it's always great to see. You don't want to be watching someone play the same game over and over again, unless, like Logan or like the speedrunners, they're really, really good at it. So you take the hot seat there for a couple of minutes, mate, and you tell us all about yourself. Let us know what games you're into. And work away.
Yeah, so I'm Shadow Drake 2. I've been playing gaming for since I was 4 or 5 years old. I've been streaming since 2020, back when COVID happened. I went onto Twitch and basically started the same old skit show doing retro gaming and stuff. And I mainly then had to break it off in 2022. Life event happened, and basically there was no situation where I could stream again. And now back in 2026, I've been able to start streaming again and actually get myself back into it a bit more, and show everyone else what I'm about now again, and be there playing retro gaming, or doing a whole chronological series of different games and stuff. But mainly my main interest has mainly been doing retro.
Into the retro scene. You see, that's the good thing about games. They can help you through troubled events in lives and help you through trauma, help you, take you back to another time when things were a lot easier and a lot happier. So that's a joy I find from gaming sometimes, is just being able to, tuck away, turn off from the outside world and get lost for a couple of hours and just chill.
Yeah, 100%.
No, it's great to have you on, Shadow, and thank you for joining me for the first TreeCast. So, without further ado, my friend, we'll get into the first round of questions for you, and that is, what's your system, your gaming systems that you do play on, and your gaming library? Kind of give us a rough idea of what it looks like.
Yeah, so obviously I've got our own little setup now. I've got a gaming room set up, and basically I have a PlayStation 5, mainly PS3. I have 3 Nintendo Switches. I got my launch Switch, a Zelda Special Edition Switch, and a Hyrule Switch. And then I have a Wii U, PS4 as well, PS2, a GameCube, so many different consoles. The main thing, though, collecting-wise now, my biggest collection, is probably my PS4 collection, and then slowly creeping up is my Switch collection. But there's multitude of things behind me, game-wise.
So what you're trying to say is you pretty much got most of the consoles. Save some consoles for somebody else, Shadow, yeah? No, it's great that you've got such a variety, because, back in them days, you had games that were exclusive to a certain console, which nowadays you don't have as much. I was told the other day by Stinks you still do get it, but it's not as common now, which is, I suppose, in a way, it's good.
Yeah, it is good. It's good. The only people that are really exclusive now is probably Nintendo still.
Yeah, that's kind of always been their thing, isn't it? They've got the rights to games and stuff, which, fair play to them, they haven't sold out, but at the same time, I don't know whether it's a cash grab. I don't want to say it's a cash grab, but I'm sure other people will. I don't want to badmouth anybody here on live because it could come back and bite me in the arse later. So we'll keep it PG, We'll keep it PG. But no, so you've got a fairly extensive gaming library and stuff there. And out of them games, kind of, what got you into gaming? Whether it be a child, back when you were...
So when I was growing up, obviously it was Sonic the Hedgehog 2. That was one of the big games I played, Mega Drive wise. And then also it was you might have heard of it, but have you ever heard of James Pond, the RoboCop?
James Pond? No, I can't say I've heard of that now, but it does sound funny.
Yeah. That was a little platformer game where you played as pretty much of a goldfish who basically would extend to grab onto ledges, and you'd get little collectibles in that level then to complete the level. That was mainly the 2 main games that got me into gaming. growing up, and then obviously then I found Zelda, which is my main love since I've got a big back tattoo of it, and
Yeah.
Majora's Mask was like my favorite one playing first. And the reason why that was is because when I was a kid, I used to struggle to read. So I couldn't really read on paper. The words would jump over all the place. And what got me into proper reading then was playing Zelda Majora's Mask, where I was able to learn how to read that with my mom's help with certain words. And that's what got me into it.
That's unreal, to say that a game kind of helped you grow. Well, it's kind of what we touched on earlier. Games can help you grow. They'll help you come along in life. So for a game to be able to help you read and write, well, not write, sorry, but to read it's great to hear. It's unreal.
Yeah.
So you were into your Legend of Zeldas and stuff, and that's kind of what really got you into the gaming. Is that because you felt like it kind of helped you move forward in life and progress in your real life? So is that why you kind of stuck with them games, would you say?
Yeah, I would say so because like it was like your own little world where you go into an adventure and just be Link in that moment and just be that person and see his troubles and helping people through. And that's kind of what kind of got me in life as well, pushing forward, you know?
That's great. That's unreal, man. I'm glad that you kind of could feel like you could open up and share that aspect of your life with us. That's unreal. Thank you very much for doing that,
Yeah,
Chad.
no problem.
Now then, we'll go on to the next. Sorry, we'll move on to the next one now. We've touched on what game kind of got you into gaming, but what's your favorite game of all time? Whether it's modern, retro, you throw something out there.
So this might shock a few people. Zelda is like my true love, yes, but my favorite game I've always gone back to and played year on year on year is Skies of Arcadia Legends.
I think I caught you playing that live. Did I? Not long ago on the PS1. Well,
No,
you said
no,
you
that's
broke-
that was Eternal Sonata, which is a game I played like going up like level chapter 8 and I never finished it. Skies of Arcadia Legends was a remake of the Dreamcast game Skies of Arcadia, which was a game of basically you being air pirates and you being like in a big open world, and it's basically there's a girl called Fina who's going across, and basically she's trying to find the moons to heal her own little country, and then she gets struck down by bad guys, and then you have to go save the world, sort of style game, like Final Fantasy-esque, but it's really good.
And kind of what made that game your all-time favorite? What stands out for that and makes it, top tier?
So the story is solid. It's like you're basically it's free world so to a certain letter to a certain T, where it's you're going around an open world in an airship, and you basically you can either keep pretty linear to certain points, and it breaks up a bit and goes open world a bit more. But the pacing of the game, the story, the characters you meet along the way, the whole aspect of being just a turn-based RPG, that whole aspect of that game is so great and so bold. It's really good.
That's what kind of made it stand out from the rest of the games that were around at the time, and ticked your boxes and says, yeah,
Yeah,
we like
take
a bit
all
of
my
this.
boxes.
We like a bit of this, so we do. Now, we've gone from the best games and the games that got you into gaming, buddy. But what has been the biggest gaming disappointment you have ever had? You've waited and waited for the game. You've thought, yes, here we go. Can't wait for this game. You've put it into the console, and why did I bother?
Oh, the game where that caused a big disappointment because I got built up behind the hype. It got kickstarted. Sony like announced it and was like, "Hey, this is we're going to bring this back if we can get enough money for it funding wise," and that was Shenmue 3. I brought my ex partner at the time brought me the collector's edition, brought me a steelbox edition, and that game just bombed. It was like the pacing was like what you expect from the Shenmue games, but it was like you spent too much time in like one little village, and then you'd go to the second part of the game, and it'd be just over so quickly, and then the ending made no sense. It was like you got to the final boss and you were like, yeah, we're finally going to avenge our father and like sort of beat this guy. And then it just, you go into the fight, you start hitting him a little bit, and he just fades to black and goes, oh, back to the new adventure, try and find him again. And I was like, what the hell?
So all that built up.
That's how the story ends?
For such a shabby ending, like it kind of.
Yeah.
They put in the work at the very start and then just hit a tea break afterwards and said, you know what? We'll just finish this game in the next afternoon.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, I can't say I've played that one myself or heard of it, but just let me invite himself back in. I think he got disconnected, bless him. There we go.
Yeah, no issues.
Right, so we've heard your biggest disappointments and we've heard which games, kind of hit the spot for you. So, after saying all that, what games are you kind of looking forward to maybe being released in the future? Or what are you hoping might get a sequel or a remake? It hasn't even got to be in the pipelines. It could just be a game that you've picked off the shelf and says, yeah, I want to see part 2 or part 3.
So here's the thing. So Skies of Arcadia Legends, it's a great game. It was released on GameCube. It done its time, but it's like now it's like a 20-year-old game. I would love to see it get a remaster, or just a remaster of that game. I would not even like a sequel, just a remaster, updated graphics, make it look more pretty, make it more keen on the eyes. I'm hoping it does get released on the Nintendo Switch GameCube emulator, because then everyone can experience it. But the thing is, Sega have re-trademarked that title. They've re-trademarked the Japanese name, which was Eternal Tale, and they've re-trademarked the Skies of Arcadia name again. So who knows if we'll ever get a Skies of Arcadia 2.
They could be teasing you there, or they could just be trying to stop someone from making a sequel to it. You don't know how that works, do you? Sometimes it's mind games that they're playing with the consumer, aren't they? And who knows, they might be trying to boost the price of games that are already sat out there. All right, there's a sequel coming. Because that's what this gaming stuff's all about. Like, one person says something, and from there, it kind of snowballs sometimes, doesn't it? And the stories come out, and something else gets added here. This is coming. Oh, this is coming, really? Yeah. I think that's what happened with the Ocarina of Time, kind of leak. But sure, look.
Yeah, Nintendo weren't happy.
No. Nintendo were never happy when stuff like that happens. Never happy.
No.
Especially when two photos of the Legend of Zelda movie got released and they lost their shit, didn't they? It was crazy.
100%. Completely lost their shit.
Yeah. I mean, I know they wanted to try and keep it in there for the anniversary and stuff, but still, it is what it is. People are going to find these things, especially in this day and age. It's something you can't help. It really isn't.
No, it's not. You can't now. The internet is wide open. Everyone goes on there to, sadly, sometimes spoil things for themselves.
Well, yeah.
And that's why I kind of like stay off like news outlets and stuff. Like, I'm obviously I'm a big wrestling fan. And like, I'll have my friends tell me like, oh, look, there's rumors that this person's coming back and it's really like 100% definite. And I'm like, you've just ruined it for yourself just in case that is true. And it's like, that's the thing that's been the thing when I first like, oh, don't tell me. I will watch it at some point. Leave me alone. I'll get there eventually.
No spoilers. Feck off.
Yeah, no spoilers.
So, buddy, that kind of brings me around then to my very last question for you. And in your opinion, Shadow, what makes a game perfect? What makes a perfect game? Top tier.
Well, the perfect game is, can it hook you within the first half an hour to 40 minutes or so? If you can do that, then you're hooked on it for life. So that could be like open world adventure, smooth controls, good story from the get go. Once you invested in the characters, good pacing, good not a grind fest. Like I said, I'm the RPG guy. So if it's a grind fest, I'll try and find ways to manipulate the EXP a little bit so it's not too much of a grind. And that sort of thing I do. And but yeah, a perfect game would be perfect pacing, good story, good characters, and then good world development.
And something that kind of draws you straight in. The first epic battle. the scene unfolds. You know, you've got fucking a wide world there that's going to hit you. You've got a few guys coming in from one side, a war kicking off in the middle, and bang, you're straight thrown into the middle of it. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's what you'd be looking for, Shadow. That's what we like to hear, anyway, man. I think you've filled us and opened our eyes in some ways. You've definitely told me about some games there that I've never heard of, which isn't too hard. That being said, I took a big, long hiatus from gaming from like the age of 13 up until last year.
Freaking
I say 13, probably about 15 I stopped. I stopped.
Oh, damn, man.
I just started playing. I was pretty much just playing Call of Duty, FIFA.
You went down that road.
I did, and that was just because my friends played them, and you get drawn in online. But I wouldn't have called myself a gamer. I wouldn't have said,
"Yeah, I get you.
I'm into this. I like this." Whereas now I've come back. I have kids. I wanted them to feel the enjoyment I used to feel playing games growing up, and the guys said to me, "There, look, get a Switch 2. You can play all the old Nintendo classics, 64. You can get the kids round. You can play all these great games." And you know what? I did, and I loved it that much, and they loved it that much. I had to buy them their own Switch so they stopped pinching mine in the evenings.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's it. Just goes to show, gaming can bring it can definitely tear families apart, but gaming can also bring people together. And I'm hoping that's what we're kind of doing here tonight.
Yeah, but. I want to say, Tree, thank you for doing this, even though it's short notice. You've brought us all together and welcomed me into the family, and I've been greatly honoured to be part of it and watch everyone when I can and everything. But yeah, thank you, Tree, for this. It's great.
No, we all support. Well, we all appreciate the support that we all give each other. Whether it's coming in and sending a few taps and a couple of messages, just to let us know you're checking in, because we all work. We've all got families. We've all got lives. We can't always be there for every single live. It's getting harder and harder now. My girls, we have kickboxing, we have camogie. There's 4 or 5 nights a week I'm gone in the evenings, and it's just nice to know that sometimes when we're sitting there's people thinking of us, and whether it's a like, a tap, or just a simple heart me, that's all we're doing this for. We're doing this to share our interests, and hopefully we'll find people out there that share similar interests to us. So no, it's a pleasure actually doing this for you guys, because you make it so easy. And I've only been welcomed into this little community myself the last year, maybe. I'm sure Stinks has probably counted the days since I first went into his stream and hurled abuse at him. I was trying to be supportive, trying to give him advice, and someone turned around and says he doesn't like that. So I've never given him a piece of advice since.
Don't blame you. Don't blame you.
Stinks does like advice, especially when he gets stuck.
Of course.
We'll get onto that in a short while when we have Stinks into the hot seat. So
yeah, definitely. Just a quick one for you, just quickly, just to add to it. I used to be like you as well. Back in the day, when I was 15, 16, all our friends, all they wanted to do was just play Call of Duty and Halo. And I was stuck for 3 years just playing those two solidly on and off.
Well, Halo, I'd still stand by that being a good game that I'd go back to. I have the Xbox One. I do have some of the games now. The problem I have with that is the controller battery doesn't charge, and I don't have the pack to put the AA's in. So, but like that, it sat in our bedroom there for 10 years, and it was nothing more than a glorified Netflix player. I've very seldom played a game on it. So now I've kind of got it wired back up, and hopefully I'd start to look at maybe playing some titles on it in the future. We'll see. But I know what you're saying. Yeah, you can kind of get stuck into them titles and just repetitively playing them online, and the same thing's happening. And you're like, why? Where tonight?
Yeah.
But no, guys, I want to thank everyone. Well, I want everyone to thank, if they would, Shadow Drake for joining us this evening. Definitely drop these guys a follow. So far, we've had Andy, who is behind the camera podcast. Simsy has joined us, and this is Shadow now, who you've just been listening to. I'd really appreciate anyone that's not following any of these guys already to drop them a follow. They're all great streamers. They've all got, diverse content. Andy, again, is more of a podcast person. Simsy is a platformer, and Shadow is an RPG player. And they're all great guys. They'll all welcome you into the chat if you get into there and you get talking to them. and they've all got great stories to tell. So yeah, thank you very much, Shadow, for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you for having me on.
No problems at all, man. Anytime. And I look forward to seeing you in your next live.
Sweet.
Now, drum roll, please. I think it's the moment you've all been waiting for. The man himself. Is he around? Is he listening?
Heyo.
Here he is. How are you going, Stinks? You well?
Yeah, not too bad. You all right?
Yeah, not too well. You could sound happy about being here, man. Come on.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? There we go. There we go. So, buddy, how have you found the content so far? Have you enjoyed the other streamers?
Yeah, it's been great. I've been really enjoying it. Just listening to everyone getting into it. You know.
Yeah,
It's always interesting to hear people's aspects on gaming and how they got into it and what they've been doing, and
it's been good. Like to say it's been small, it's been thrown together real quick. We've found 4 different gamers who enjoy 4 different things, yet can all come together in the same community and have a good time.
yeah, that's it. Gaming is one of those things. It does really just bring everyone together.
It does, and we love that. We really, really do. It's kind of what makes gaming epic, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm going to give you the hot seat there for a few minutes, mate, and I just want you to introduce yourself, tell the people what you're all about, what you're into, and I'll close my mouth and come back into you in a few minutes when you're ready.
Okay, no worries. Thank you, Tree. So my name is Oh God It Stinks. Someone in the chat just then asked, what the origins of my name is. And if you've ever watched someone on YouTube called Meat Canyon, there's a particular video about Bugs Bunny that might be worth a watch, and you'll figure it out from there. But anyway, everyone calls me Stinks because Oh God It Stinks is an absolute mouthful. And yeah, thanks, Marie. I have been gaming my entire life. There isn't a period of my life where I can't remember not having some kind of game console or handheld. I play a little bit of everything. There isn't anything that's off the table. Apart from Hello Kitty. No, Hello Kitty has been on the table several times now, but we'll ignore that. Obviously, I'm outside of gaming. I've got my little family. I've got my wife, I've got my kids and stuff like that, and it's always fun to get them involved with the gaming aspects, considering how big of a part of my life that it is. Apart from Fast Penguin, yeah, no, we're not mentioning Fast Penguin either. And then, of course, we've got the mascot, Oscar, who's at the moment pestering me because he wants me to throw his dentist stick across the room. But yeah, that's that's a little bit about what makes Stinks, really, I suppose.
So what you're trying to say is Stinks was born with a Game Boy Classic in his hand.
Basically, yeah, because
he came out crying, and there you go.
Yeah, that was it. My first game, or rather the first recollection of a game that I've got, and if you know anything about me, I'm a big Pokemon fan, was Pokemon. Back in day, getting introduced to it from my brother, which some of you may know as OTK Link, who's not with us this evening, but we won't worry about that. But he was a big Pokemon guy, and it was basically from him that I essentially got my first hand-me-down. And then from there it stemmed to, PlayStation, SNES, N64, Xbox. In fact, I've got an interesting memory from when I was younger. So not a lot of people know, but I used to live next door to quite a famous singer from an English band. And I used to go round to his house when I was younger, and I used to play SNES with his sister playing Super Mario Bros.
There you go. At least you weren't playing other things with his sister now. Jesus. That could have got you in trouble.
Absolutely
That could have
not.
got you in trouble.
No, absolutely
On the
not.
SNES story there, he kept it PG.
For God's sake.
Well, you've pretty much answered the first question I was going to throw your way, Stinks, and that's kind of what's your gaming system, and your library. I know you're a digital gamer mainly, and you have a few physical titles. But But yeah, just give us a quick rundown of what consoles you own and what games you play.
So I am PlayStation through and through. That's my main console. Right now, obviously, I'm rocking the PlayStation 5. And that is my kind of, if I was to have a go-to system right now, that would be it. But I'm not opposed to playing games on Nintendo. Like I've got the Switch 2, or I've got the Switch hanging around somewhere. We've got the GameCube packed away, the N64 packed away. I've got the PlayStation 2 also currently packed away because that also needs repairs. We've got a couple of Xboxes that are around the house. And then we've got the PC. So for a long period of time, I was a PC gamer exclusively. And now we've got the laptop that we play games on there. In terms of, what was I going to say just a minute ago? I was going to say something. I can't remember what it was. It's gone. Never mind.
Well, just a quick follow-up question for your games library. Do you own Mario 3D All-Stars?
It's lost. We're not getting into that. It's lost.
Is it lost or has it been hidden on purpose?
No, it's lost.
It's lost. Okay. You heard it here first, guys. It's lost. Kiffer there laughing away in the background. He knew that question was coming, didn't it? So we know Pokemon was kind of a big, we do want Sunshine Kiffer at some stage. So what got you into gaming then, Stinks? That kind of what game was the one that made you think, yeah, I know you said Pokemon was one of the first memories you have. Was it Pokemon or was it something else?
So Pokemon was kind of just a staple kind of, it was a staple game for me. So I never like to consider it the game that actually got me into gaming. Although it is a game, for me, Pokemon was just an aspect of my life. There wasn't any time I wasn't playing Pokemon. Now, if I was to get into the games that kind of got me into playing other games, it was I went round to my cousins, and it was my first introduction to a PlayStation 1. And they had the Italian Job, Mortal Kombat, I can't remember which one it was on PlayStation 1 now, and Spyro the Dragon. And I remember sitting there watching my cousins play it and wanting, obviously, to play it myself. And they all went to bed. And I pretended to be asleep so I could stay up and play Spyro the Dragon, and then the Italian Job. And I like to think that from there, those are the ones that got me into playing other stuff. So it wasn't just I would be sitting around playing Pokemon, it was wanting to try other stuff on other consoles. And then my first actual console that wasn't a hand-me-down, or given to me in some aspect, the first console I ever got was, my parents took me to Woolworths, rest in peace, and I wanted a GameCube. And I remember that at the time, the GameCube was basically being taken off the shelves at that point because they were shelving it. And I was really upset about it. And instead, I ended up getting the Xbox Classic in crystal, and with a copy of Spider-Man 2. And it's kind of from there that it stemmed outwards, really. After that, I had the Xbox. I had the PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2. Eventually, from there, moving on to I borrowed a GameCube from my neighbors, and I was playing Mario Sunshine and stuff like that. And it just kind of spiraled from there.
So, it's strange that kind of you started off with Nintendo and Xbox. They were kind of your foothold, we'd say, and then you've become such a PS kind of orientated gamer. It's I don't want to say it's crazy, but it's great how you've come across the entire spectrum of gaming, from one side to the other, basically. You don't tend to see that. You tend to see like a lot of brand, loyalty. You're a PlayStation or you're an Xbox or you're a Nintendo, and that's kind of what you stick to. So yeah, it's great to see that amongst gamers, kind of testing the waters with other games and seeing what's available.
I've always called myself variety gamer. And what I mean by that is kind of what I was saying a minute ago, where nothing is really truly off the table. Um, and I think that's just because, for me growing up, you kind of always get that influence from like older siblings and stuff like that, where if an older sibling has a console, so like a Nintendo or a PlayStation or something, it tends to be you pick that up from them. But growing up, obviously I had my older siblings, but they weren't around too much. So when I was getting my kind of exposure to consoles, I would go to one person's house and they'd have a SNES or an N64. I go to someone else's and they'd have a PlayStation. I go to someone else's and they'd have an Xbox. And I think that's kind of why I don't really have one that I sit back and go, oh yeah, 100%, I'm locked into that. I think I kind of just had exposure to everything across everything.
There's no brand loyalty with Stinks. It's just gaming loyalty at the end of the day. Like that's what it boils down to, is it?
Yeah, that's it. A game is a game.
As long as the game is good, that's all he's bothered about.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've seen what kind of games got you into gaming and what consoles and stuff. Now we're going to ask you, what's your favourite game of all time?
Now, I've been waiting for this question because I have an answer to this. And I give it to every single person that tells me, or rather asks me, what is my favourite game? I don't have a favourite game. And the reason why I don't have a favourite game is because when you play a game, or you play any game, and then you move to another one or another one beyond that, every single game is different for a reason. There are aspects to each game which, in a way make those individual games iconic. I could go and I could play Fallout, and I'd be playing that for its RPG elements and its in-depth world building, and then I'd go and play Call of Duty and it's more fast-paced action and shooting and what have you, and then I could move from there and I could go and play like, for example, Dragon Age Origins, because I love that game. But that's more of a turn-based kind of strategy RPG. So there really isn't kind of one specific game I would go to and say, oh yeah, this is my favorite game of all time, simply because every game has something different to offer.
So what we've learnt from Stinks already is there's no brand loyalty, it's gaming loyalty. It's not loyal to any one game. So,
That's it.
The puzzle just keeps expanding. Here we go. He's a man of many mystery. Marie likes to she'd just like to add a little bit there. You're not good at any game. No, you don't like any game because there's a skills issue with them all.
Shut up, Marie.
That's a name, don't worry now. So I'm sure that you've definitely got an answer for this one. And that is, what game was the biggest disappointment to you? The biggest flop? Was it Pragmata?
No, it's not Pragmata. I actually do have an answer for this one as well. Okay. And I know that more than likely, not a single person in the chat is going to know what this game is. Okay. So
because we've got a variety of gamers this evening, so you hit us with it and we'll see.
So back in 2013, I want to say it is. Steam had just released, so Steam on PC had just released its service of early access games. And they were games that you could play where the developers were still making them, they were advertising them, and you could buy like an early snapshot of the game for a cheaper price than what it would be at release, but you'd play it as the devs would update it. And there was this one game that was advertised, and everyone was kind of going nuts for it if they were on PC because of what it was being advertised as. It was a massive open universe before No Man's Sky existed. It was a massive open universe game where you could fly from different planets, and you could build and you could create spaceships and all kinds of things. And you could have said the idea was that you could basically mine a planet until its core disappeared and stuff like that. And this game was called Starforge. and me and my friends were so incredibly excited for this game because we saw all the advertising. We've been following it for months. We were waiting for it to come out on Steam Early Access, and when it came out, you would load up the game, and it would immediately play the trailer for the game that had been out, and then you would press play, and it would drop you into this giant green open expanse with nothing in it. It was just like a flat world, slightly terraformed, with a drill in your hand, and you could drill into the ground. And we were like, right, okay, the game's just come out on early access. The devs made an absolute bucket load of money from it, and then just rug pulled it and run away.
They've just taken your money and run. I was
Yeah.
actually watching the chat there as you were saying it and you're going through it, and there is a few people who do vaguely remember the game, and they do remember the game as well. So, were they as disappointed? That's the question. Get talking in the comments, guys, and do you agree with Stinks? Was it an absolute flop of a game?
Well, they never released another update after that. So I mean,
One and done.
it
One and
can't
done.
be a flop.
Did they ever release another game after that, or did they just get fired off and just said, right, let's go and move to Spain now? We're off to Benidorm, lads.
No, that's pretty much it. They literally just rug pulled everyone, and then the company disappeared, and that was it. They were gone.
Jesus, that's what. There must have been early Nintendo gamers or something like devs.
Probably, it wouldn't surprise me. But
What can I say? They took the money and run.
that's it. It's
So,
a perfect scheme.
I know you have been really looking forward to Pragmata being released, and kind of it's been on your playlist, and you've been going through it, and we saw it for the first 3 or 4 streams that you did after release. So that was a game that you were looking forward to coming out. So you can't really answer that now. But what is another game that you're looking forward to being released in the future, or you're hoping might get a sequel?
So there's a couple. There is the heavily rumored Spyro 4. Which is meant to be a direct sequel to Spyro 3. So going back to the original Spyro games. Kiffer, pack it in with a Hello Kitty. The heavily rumored Spyro 4. There's also Bioshock 4, well, technically 3, but also technically 4, because whether you class Bioshock Infinite as the third title in the Bioshock series or just as a spin-off, who knows? Everyone has their own opinion on that one. I'm waiting for the next Bioshock game, 100%. And then there's just a few kind of miscellaneous titles. The sequel to Black Myth Wukong, which is Black Myth, what's it called? Zawang or something along those lines. I'm super excited for that. There's Stellar Blade 2, there's Phantom Blade 0, there's I was looking at a list of them earlier because I was going through looking to see when things come out.
What needs to look out is your bank account by the sound of things, buddy. Seriously.
Oh yeah, always got to keep an eye on the bank account. Thankfully, most of these games are kind of spread out all over the place, so it's not just one after the other. There's time.
There's a bit of recovery time and saving time in between, which is always a grace, especially when games are like, anywhere from between 50 and 100 quid now. It's pure crazy.
Yeah, that's it. And then obviously you've got GTA 6 as well, which at this point I don't know if I'm excited for it or not. And then there's Fallout 5 as well.
I'm going to say with GTA 6 now, I think the excitement's kind of fizzled away to, when it lands, it's...
I tend to agree, but Rockstar is very, very, very good at advertising, and they wait until it kind of fizzles out and everyone goes, oh, we've been waiting so long for this, and then they'll release something else. Like recently they did they teased what kind of the graphics are going to look like for the animals in the game, and it's like the most hyper-realistic comedian in a video game I've ever seen, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, but now I'm interested again.
Let's be fair, I mean, how long has it been since San Andreas? Well, it wasn't even San Andreas the last one, was it? It was GTA 5 was the last one.
2013.
2013. 13. Wow, yeah, 13 years. So, there's a big gap there now, so it is going to be a big jump from, like, let's say, the graphics. I mean, you look at GTA 5 from San Andreas, the jump in graphics there is unreal. What they managed to do in that time frame. So there is high expectations on them for them to get everything perfect with this game. You know, there's a big cult following of GTA. There always has been ever since the PS1 days. So there is a lot of people out there now waiting to pounce on this, and I can see why they've delayed it. You know, you're not going to want to put a half-assed game out there that you could have done better on.
Yes, 100%.
So at the same time, you can see why they're taking the time, and you can probably sympathise with it in ways, but I don't know. I'd like to see. I'll see it when it comes out, and I'll make my mind up then, and see if I think it's going to be worth getting.
See, I just kind of want Bully 2.
Bully 2.
That's what I want. I want Bully 2. I'd rather have another Bully game than GTA 6.
Really?
Yeah,
That's kind of where you are at the minute now, yeah?
I would love another Bully game. That would be great.
Someone there saying Shadow would like Red Dead 3. I suppose that's Rockstar as well. They haven't got time to make it 2 good games now, Shadow. Jesus.
See, I think that there's still life in Red Dead 2. I think they kind of gave up on it too quick.
But that's
They
the best
gave
thing
up.
about modern games now, you know, with all the download DLCs and the updates they can do on the modern games. It's not like games where once upon a time you had your cartridge, you had your game, live with it.
Yeah, yeah,
They can be
exactly.
tweaking in the background and taking glitches out, and it's a different world out there now compared to what it was when we were growing up with our retro games. You know, but that's kind of what we enjoyed, you know, finding glitches. Like I think Simsy touched on it earlier, finding Easter eggs and finding little bits that the devs either left for us or didn't get rid of. That was part of the hunt.
Yeah, and I do agree that gaming has kind of lost that quirkiness as it's kind of gone on. It's more about realism now and creating and emulating the real world than it is about just being quirky and fun.
Yeah. No, I can get that as well now. Yeah. You know, sometimes you just wanted a wacky game. You know, like I'd never played that Toe Jam and Earl until we played it on stream that day. And
Yes.
that's just pure craziness. But it's a game you could rock out to for a quick half an hour, have a blast through it. You know, you might not have gained anything by it, but you've definitely not lost anything by it. It was a great game.
Yeah, it was. 100% it was. Like, it's from that period of time where game devs didn't know what would work and what wouldn't work. So everything was just kind of a little bit. I like to describe it as Saturday morning cartoon. So it's weird and wonderful, and you can't quite tell what's going to happen next because that's the whole point of it.
But sometimes, yeah, that the surprise is what makes a game. You know, we don't want to know what's coming half of the time. We want to be wowed. We want to. Geez, I didn't see that coming. That's really sideswiped me. You know, that's
Yeah.
yeah. We are losing that in the gaming world, unfortunately, because, like you say, they want to go on realism. They want to go on real life graphics. They want to go on stuff that people are going to buy. I think both Andy and Simsy touched on it. It's kind of just how much money can we get out of the consumer's hands at this stage, which, you know, it's not right, you know, especially the price of games and the consoles alone. It's crazy.
I also think, because I don't disagree with that, there are far too many games coming out now where the primary focus is more about what can we do with this game going forward than what can we do with this game right now. Prime example being something like Fortnite, where every other week there's a new thing for someone to buy and it costs £20 or more. But I also feel like we're entering a period of time now when you consider some of the games that have come out in the last couple of years, Pragmata, Death Stranding, even to an extent Fallout, really. We're seeing more of a push towards media, like almost like being cinema, a replacement for cinema.
Yeah, long cutscenes, epic surround sound, great music. Yeah,
that's where I think gaming is going. It's more about uh, that kind of big spectacle than necessarily just being about having fun.
Yeah, kind of trying to immerse you into it too much and get you just, yeah,
Yeah,
I can
no,
see where you're
exactly.
going now. And gaming was always meant to be fun, even before video games came along. Hopscotch, all the old games that Tree had been out playing when I was a kid before consoles came along. You know, they're all about having a good time. They're all about socializing, coming together, making friends. This is kind of what we're trying to do here this evening is bring people together and having a good time. And
No,
that's what
absolutely.
gaming is all about, in my opinion. It's kind of got lost along the way with the developers, but sure, money is the root to all evil, as they do say. So
Well,
yeah, it's
that's just another reason to praise retro gaming, really, because without it, um, we wouldn't be here together talking like we are now and stuff like that. Because in reality, that's what's brought us together, not the modern games, but the retro ones.
yeah, stuff that we've it's withstood the test of time, and we're still all talking about and playing it now. Whether it's Mario or whether it's Sonic or Zelda or any of the old retro titles. It's yeah, it really is. It's brought us all together here tonight, and hopefully it'll bring people again into your streams in the future and everybody else's streams as well. And because at the end of the day, we're all gamers. We all enjoy what we enjoy, and we all enjoy making friends and having fun, which is what it's
100%,
all out to be. So
100%.
my final question for you tonight, then, Stinks, is this one, and it's pretty self-explanatory for you, mate. And that's what makes a game perfect for you.
I again, I was thinking about this one actually when Simsy specifically was talking about it, and I have to say that for me, it's like kind of touching on Fallout a bit here, and then a little bit of Bioshock as well is the story building in video games. I've kind of just slagged off the whole cinematic aspect of video gaming, but it, in an extension of that is when you get given a game where the devs have actually put time and effort into the open world aspect around you rather than just focusing on one specific thing and then leaving you with what is essentially, an empty casket at the end. So one of my favorite gaming memories was I was pushed towards playing Fallout 3 by friends at school. And I remember trying to give it a go and loading Fallout 3 up and being in the vault, feeling like I couldn't get out of the vault. And at this time, every game was open world. So playing a game like Fallout where I was stuck in the vault, I was like, it's dingy, it's not great and stuff like that. I could never get into it, and they kept saying, "Oh no, you've got to play it. You've got to carry on. You've got to keep to it." And I remember one day I woke up. It was a Saturday. It was raining outside and stuff like that. Nobody was online to play Halo and things. And I was like, I'll load up Fallout and I'll start playing that. And I played it and I got out of the vault. And the first part, I don't know if you've played, I think you've played Fallout 3. Um, when the vault door opens for the first time and your character is completely blinded because of the sunshine that's shining in their face, and as it fades away, you get introduced to this massive open landscape in front of you that's got a little bit of something everywhere. And I was awestruck. I was like, what? Like, I've tried playing this game like tens of times and I've never gotten past the vault, and you're telling me that this was on the other side of that damn door this entire time. But then it wasn't just that, it was that I started to play the game, and this is what feeds into the world building part. Um, and I got to Megaton and I was following the story. And then it obviously was like, oh no, you need to go here and continue with the story. Um, and I went off the beaten path of following where they wanted me to go, and I stumbled onto another vault. And then inside of this vault, I'm finding story and information that's got nothing to do with the main quest in the game at all. It's just entirely localized to this one vault and the story behind it and what made that vault. And I'm like, holy crap, they actually cared. You know, they cared enough to put this much level of detail
Into
into,
one aspect.
and it wasn't just that vault either. At that point, I was exploring this, that, and everything else, and I was finding stories that had nothing to do with the main overall story. It was just because they wanted to give life to the world. It wasn't just an empty space. It was life in what could otherwise have just been an empty pocket.
So you were off exploring vaults and looking at the stories. Simsy was in the cabins reading stories. You know, yeah, it's just all of what you can put inside a game to make it feel full and to give the consumer the end product that they deserve.
Exactly, and again, that's another thing that modern games don't often do is kind of include that level of detail in them. It's more about what's the next big action scene as opposed to, oh, what's in this random cupboard over here? Oh, in Fallout's case, oh, it's a guy sat on a toilet with a rubber duck in his hand with a plunger stuck in his head, saying, I've forgotten the toilet paper.
Let's be honest, now it could have had worse things in his hand. Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you know, modern games have kind of lost that charm.
Unfortunately, that's just the way it is, and like that's why we all seem to come back to retro, or we all prefer older games. Well, we're not going to just say, oh no, I'm not playing a new game. Tree might do, especially if it's like not got a physical copy. I might just say not a chance. But at the same time, we give them a chance, but we always come back to what's tried and tested, what's worked, and what we enjoy and what we love. And
yeah, absolutely.
Luckily enough now in this day and age, it's easy enough to get your hands on a console or even emulate a game. I mean, if you're interested in getting back into gaming, these guys, I'm sure, will all be able to help you out. Learning about emulation on PCs and laptops, learning about, you know, where you can get certain things from, even how to play games properly. They've all helped me. I can say that much.
Even just having access to a phone, you know, an Android or an iPhone and stuff like that, you can emulate games on there. At this stage, gaming is something that shouldn't be gate kept from people. You know, if you're someone that can't afford to go out and buy all the consoles and the physical games and stuff like that, or the digital games, if you're a digital gamer like myself, and you can't buy them all, but you've got access to these means of doing it, it shouldn't be kept from people. You know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with emulating a game if you get the experience from it. You know, everyone should be allowed to experience these games, these stories.
And that's what it boils down to. As long as you've got a phone that could do it, is it a Bluetooth games controller from pretty much any console now? You could pair to your phone and just have at it. Tip away.
Exactly. 100%.
But yeah, that's kind of that's us at the end, I think, there, guys. That's all of my questions for you, Stinks. So once again, anyone that's here, I'd implore you to follow these four wonderful guys here that we've had with us. So we started off with Andy behind the camera podcast. Then we switched to Simsy 101. Then we heard from Shadow Drake, and finally there we've just heard from Oh God It Stinks. Please, if you do one thing tonight, just drop these guys a follow because they all deserve your time. You know, they take hours out of their weeks. Some of them take hours out of the days to come and bring happiness and, you know, bring gaming to people who, like Stink says there, not everyone could afford a console. Sometimes you might see kids coming through streams and, you know, they might not have that game, but they'll want to watch you play it, and they could sit there and you could chat to them. You know, we don't do this for crazy gifts. We don't do this for money or monetization. What we do this for is the love of gaming and for trying to get gaming out there to everybody, because gaming can bring happiness. It can build communities. And in the world that we're living in at the minute now, that's something we need more than ever, is community.
100%.
So I'd like to thank each and every one of you four fine gentlemen this evening for joining me on the very first TreeCast. I do feel it was successful, and I do hope that you get followers and support from all this. I do hope you've enjoyed yourself and I've not been too grilling on questions and too mind-numbingly droning on.
No, it's all that Tree. Honestly, it's not just thanking us that you should be doing, but us thanking you for bringing us all here this evening. You know, it's been great. It's been fun.
It's been an absolute pleasure, guys. I mean, if you guys want to have a few minutes talking together, if you've heard each other saying stuff in streams that you just want to touch on with other people, unmute your mics there now, and you can, answer a few questions, and we'll rock out to about 1:15, and we can call it a 2-hour stream then. And yeah, feel free, guys, to unmute, and if you want to answer any questions that people have got for themselves.
Wait, I have to answer these people's questions. Right, I'm gone.
He's off. He's He's hiding. But yeah, work away, guys. I mean, I'll stay on the mic as well, but feel free to take the stage, give yourself shout outs, talk to the people, tell them why they should come and follow you.
Please don't follow me. I'll get a restraining order.
Please follow Stinks because he needs it.
Yeah, please follow Stinks.
Why is Stinks such a beg? Shut up, Marie.
Is this going to be a regular thing? Kiffer, going forwards, we'll definitely do one a month. Definitely. I mean, if I can find, because I don't want the same faces to be on all the time, because the questions and stuff are repetitive. I'm not that I've not loved you guys being on, and I'm sure I'll have you on again in the future. But there's only so many questions you can ask, and you don't want to be repetitively asking the same person over and over again. So if I can find the creators, which I think I can with Andy, he tagged a few people there earlier. If there's anyone here that's interested, definitely drop me a message and I'll stick your name onto a list. And going forward, we'll build something. And like that, I'm happy to have you 4 guys back. I think you've done a sterling job. You've answered every question I've put out there. You've come at it with charisma. You've definitely passed 2 hours of my evening. So hopefully you've passed everybody else's as well.
That's very rude.
Sorry, I wasn't here for most of it.
Simsy fell asleep.
Simsy went to sleep, yeah.
We've got Kiffer saying that he would join. We've got Bridgeton saying that she would join.
Bennett, I think,
I
says
thought it was going to be a weekly or bi-weekly thing. I didn't realize you were going to do it monthly.
Well,
I think you've got enough people you can keep just going weekly if you really wanted to.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you could do.
Yeah, the format's like phenomenal as well. Like, and especially see if you kept it to like 4 people, you could definitely go like as in depth as we all did. And 2 hours is like for something like this, is 100%. Like, because imagine you filled like the 8 slots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Jesus, yeah. When the time was going on, because I'd originally allotted 10, 15 minutes for each person. I thought, yeah, that's grand. And then you think 6 questions, 15 minutes. Oh, yeah, 2 minutes, you'll fly through it. But then you kind of expand on questions and you go further in depth with something. You cut other questions short. So, yeah, I mean, we filled up the 2 hours there. No bother. We could have talked a lot more.
Oh, yeah, all of us could.
So, yeah, it's, hopefully I managed to try and keep it around about the 20, 30 minutes each. And I feel I did. I don't know, but we know Tree could talk more. Yep, you're damn right, Simsy.
I think it's one of those things. Like, I mean, even if you had like 2 people, you could really kind of fill out. Like, I mean, I think, like I say, the format and the concept is 100%, and even like this one being the first one, you had your questions and all. Like, it doesn't mean that you couldn't like sort of different questions each week for different people, sort of thing, and. There's tons and tons that can be done with it, but I appreciate you having me on for this first one. It's been great getting to know the other lads as well here. Like, it's yeah, man, it's been incredible.
I'm glad you've all enjoyed it. I'm glad people have actually stayed and watched. I mean, I've been watching the viewers numbers like a hawk, like on the way through, and watching the chat. And we've never slipped below the low teens. Like, there's always been a very good following in for a live that's in its first. Well, it's in its baby steps. And like, I take my hats off to you guys, taking a chance to come in here, wasting 2 hours. Well, I say wasting 2 hours of your evening. Hopefully, what's the word? You're going to benefit from it. So hopefully it's an investment for you to come in for the 2 hours. And, hopefully we're going to get something and build something great behind it. And, with your guys' help, I'm sure coming forward, we'll definitely make something of it. 100%.
Oh, definitely, because you can touch on other people's like favorite games, like favorite platformers, and you can go really in depth with people with their background of that favorite game as well.
Well, this is the thing. Yeah, I mean, what I'd have to do is probably get their information on that ahead of time and do a bit of research into a lot of the games myself, because some of the games you guys have come out with tonight, I'm thinking, oh, Jesus, what are they on about here? I'd heard some of the games, but even the likes of, some of the more modern titles, I won't have a clue, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you guys. I mean, it really has. You've made the evening go without a hitch, and definitely going forward, we'll do something. I mean, Simsy was saying bi-weekly. That could be an option. I think weekly to start with might be a bit much, but we could always aim towards that. Hopefully, as the cast goes on, we'll get a wider audience, and there'll be more people and more opportunity for other people to come in, and there could even be a stage there where, I don't know, you guys do me. Well, hang on, that sounds a bit wrong, especially. Mind you,
We don't mind if you want.
I'm first in line.
Yeah, and then we're interviewing you after.
we're after the watershed here, guys. Jesus.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
I'd
I'd go.
bark up that tree.
Happy days. Kiffer's even excited there. I can hear the thighs. The thighs are rubbing together. Get in line, he says. Get in line. But no, like Andy says there, the opportunities are endless. I think it's key though for getting the comments and the questions going out first. But that's the thing that I thought of halfway through there. Anyone that's still watching at this stage that'd be interested in partaking and coming back, or even just being in the audience. The next time you see a post go up, don't be scared to fire me a question that you want me to ask people. What I'll try and do next time is get 4 gamers ahead of time and let you know who they are. So if you are following them, or you're not following them, you could always go in there, see what they're about, and get me to ask questions for you. That's kind of part of why we're here, is to try and expand your reach in the gaming community and get you into different people's lives, looking at different games, meeting friends, meeting new people, because that's what I've found. 2 of the guys who were supposed to drop in this evening, I did see Juan hop in for a little while, but he did say he'd just be kind of either asleep or just waking up at this time. There's people there whose live I've dropped into, and I've stayed for a while. I've dropped a heart me, I've tapped, got chatting to them, and then they'll come back into your lives, or they'll come and find you, and that's what we're all about. Is we're all trying to build connections and network, and that's what we are. I think all 5 of us are here to do tonight. And
100%.
But yeah, guys, we are pretty much.
I have one question for the host.
Work away.
What was your favorite console when you were growing up?
N64.
N64, yeah.
No hesitation. I did
good.
enjoy the NES, the original NES, because that had some great Mario games on there for me. I loved Duck Hunt as well with the light gun. That was, great times. I remember even the times of the Commodore 16 and the Atari. That's how far back I go, where you had cassettes and you'd have to get to the end of the game would pause. You'd have to take the cassette out, turn it around, stick it back in, press play, off you go again. But no, 64 was my favorite console growing up, and my favorite game on there was obviously Mario 64.
Yeah, I got introduced to the Commodore 64 when I was I want to say 9, 10. When
Yes.
my stepdad had an old basically his father passed away and passed it down to him, and he was sitting there in the back of an old school TV trying to tune the damn thing in, and he was there for a good hour. And as soon as it tuned in, it was just wow, this is completely different technology, because obviously it was floppy disk, proper floppy disks.
Yeah.
And seeing them trying to load up and everything, the same as a cassette. I saw that growing up, and I was like, wow, this is what gaming was back then, compared to instantaneously you plug a cartridge in, turn on, it's there.
That's it, yeah. I mean, gaming's come such a long way in the last 30 years. I mean, 40, I suppose, if you go back to the likes of some of the really, really old consoles. But to see that leap that we've had between, the 80s and where we are now in the mid-20s, it's absolutely mind-boggling. How have we come so far in such a short space of time? Really is. But no, that's me out there, guys. So unless anybody else has any shout outs that they want, I'm going to wrap this all up by saying thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thanks to our amazing panel of guests that we've had this evening. You've all been absolutely wonderful. So once again, if you guys in the audience could find it in your heart, favourite controllers.
I can answer that one. I would have to say the GameCube controller.
GameCube was a good shout.
Because it was really comfortable. Even though the buttons were all over the place, but it was really comfortable to play, and you could play for hours.
I don't just want to say this because it's my favourite console, but I think the N64 controller always had like a nice ergonomic feel to it, especially like as you've grown, like it's never been awkward to hold. I know people look at it and go, oh, Jesus, there's 3 fucking strands on it, like, but very seldom did you hold the D-pad for games. You know, it was always kind of on the stick. I do like the Joy-Cons now. They do feel good in the Switch.
For me, it would have to be the DualSense.
Yeah, good job.
I'd agree. DualSense for me, definitely. Like, especially considering that, like, you know, see from like PS2 upwards, there's not been a whole pile of change because they've not had to. Obviously, like with the PS4 and 5, they did like the trackpad on it kind of thing. But yeah, like from PS2 to PS5, it hasn't really changed too much.
No.
Yeah, I would say definitely DualSense.
Like if you saw like before, sorry cutting you off, Stinks, but if you saw like before when the PS3 had the prototypes, before it was released, it was a big freaking boomerang controller first.
Yeah, the boomerang controller was wild. Absolutely wild.
At least on the plus side, if you got fecked off with the game, you could throw it around the room as it come back to you.
100%.
True.
Yeah.
Plus side to every negative, lads.
But here's a controversial question for future. This is one that causes many arguments in many forums. Off-center or center analog sticks?
Okay.
So you're on about inverse or normal?
No. Like the Xbox has off-center at a diagonal,
yeah.
or the PlayStation has on-center.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. It all depends on the game. Like, I've adapted to so many different controllers over the years. It's never really fazed me.
See, I've always said that off-center is more comfortable than on-center, but then I mostly use on-center controllers. Yeah, exactly, because of the PlayStation.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a whim and say I haven't got a clue about the difference of them, lads. Honestly.
The best way to figure it out, Tree, is to put your hands in front of you like you're holding a controller, and how do your thumbs sit?
So that depends on the N64, because if you're holding it by the centre and the right stock, which you normally would, it'd be straight up in front of you.
And now we're completely off tangent.
Yeah, completely. Like with the N64, it all depend like if the game even supported the analog stick. Because like the old school like WWE wrestling games that were on there at the time, like WrestleMania 2000, it only supported the joystick for taunting your opponent. The rest of it was D-pad.
You could use the joystick for the moves in those ones, but it was like really if you missed like and ended up in one of the notches, it was just easier to use the D-pad for them. Like it was made for it, but like I think there was a setting where you could use the joystick, but it just was.
It didn't work.
No, it was horrendous because I used to love WWF Warzone.
Yeah.
And like I think I must have been in my late teens when it really occurred to me to look up how to do it, and like all the forums are just like don't use a control stick, like literally just
Don't.
it says in the move list like it's the D-pad, do that, and then that just completely changed it for me. Like it was just and it was such a silly little thing, but yeah, like I quite like the D-pad for that. Like I mean, it made sense, and now of course the controls for the moves and that were, bit borderline ancient hieroglyphics, like, but like
It was like soft A was like soft grapple, hard A was hard grapple. It took me. You want to know what the funniest thing is? I played the game for like a good year, and I didn't even know how to hit the finishing move until like I accidentally stumbled upon it and was like, "It's the joystick." What?
Yeah, like because I remember for Warzone, it was like the finishing moves. Like you either had to Google and write down because they weren't in the move list at all,
Yeah.
and it was like you had to press like about 6 different inputs before getting it, and then even at that, they were still attacking you. So it was you had to like stun them first, then hit the finisher, and it sort of. It is what it is. Back for when was that released? Like 99 or 98 or something like that. But yeah, that was fun.
There were different times.
Oh yeah. For
You had
sure.
to-
100% different times.
You had to live through these games. Like, I mean, you see the kids now. Well, my two now they'd be forever asking me, "Daddy." Example, Sapling. She's just started playing Galaxy first time. She's seen me play it. Daddy, where do I go from here? What do I do here? How do I kill these? When I was growing up, you played the game. You had trial and error. If you died, you died. You start again.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'd just be the same way with her. I'd be like, play the game. That's how I learn. Sometimes now when she's 20 lives into the same thing and she's dying in the same spot, I'd be like, right, don't go that way, go that way. There's only so many times you can watch them lose lives in the same spot before you have to give them a little look. But that's another thing. Like, I mean, we grew up with different styles of games, didn't we? Just things that made you think, puzzles that just bend your mind. Even now, going back and playing the likes of Majora's Mask there, certain things in there, you'd be like, what am I doing now? What am I doing now? But there'd always be little clues knocking around. Like, they'd always leave you a bomb inside of a vase just before you needed a bomb. It's trying to be subtly telling you and nudging you in the right direction, but without having, do this, do that, go here.
Or like the classic like RPG or action RPG drive would be you'd go to a room and it would have like the health potions there for you, a new weapon, and all of a sudden you'll see auto saved and you'll go, no.
Yeah. Red's in the comments saying the same thing. Like, the games these days giving too much help and not enough thinking involved. They're kind of nannying you along just to get you over the line and make you feel like you've achieved something. But no, guys.
And it's like if you like look at games now, like back when we were growing up, it was more of like you'd have to like get into the trenches of the game to get further in it. Where now it seems like more games are trying to keep your attention span much longer because obviously doom scrolling and everything else is like kill the attention span.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't. Some games now I can't really play. Like I played. To be honest, the latest thing I played on the PlayStation 5 before I jumped back into streaming was Dragon Quest VII Reimagined.
Another game I've never heard of.
Yeah, that was on PS1 first, and then it got reported, and it got remastered onto the PS5, and it got remastered onto the 3DS at one point as well.
And it's still hitting the titles there now on the PS5.
Yeah, and it still got remastered to the PS5 because people wanted it, and Square Enix is just like, yep, we'll give you more Dragon Quest, and
If it
Dragon
sells,
Quest is still going.
This is the thing, like, but are they giving us value for money? That's the big question that's on most gamers' lips at the minute. Is this game worth buying? Is it worth parting, almost a day's salary sometimes, or more than a day for some people? Which a lot of the time now, I don't think it is. But
Dragon Quest 8, if you're into your RPGs, I'd say definitely a good investment. It lets you pick how you want to play it. You can pick it like you can put the bosses, when you can put it where the enemy doesn't even fight you back. You can change the EXP amount that you get. You can change the gold amount you get. It's been really customized tailored to how you want to play it, and it's a good 90-hour game.
Jeez, that's a long time to be spending in a game now, especially, well, you say that, but then you see some people's gamer times on their profiles, and they've spent, hundreds, if not thousands, of hours inside of a certain game. And you're like, how? Wow, that's just next level. Really is. So on that bombshell, guys, I want to thank you all again one more time, and I want to say good night to everybody, and everyone that's in the audience. Good night to you guys. And one more appeal to you all: please do drop these 4 wonderful guys a follow if you haven't already. It's been a privilege sharing the stream with them this evening, and I hope that we can all get together and do this again very soon, even if it's just 1 or 2 of you at a time in a stream with other people or something. But yeah, next time I'll try and do a bit more notice for you all, and we'll get some more questions, especially from viewers out there who have questions for you all. So thanks very much, guys. And I'll catch you either in your streams or somebody else's streams, or maybe even my own stream one day.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Tree. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you,
worries.
Trey.
All the best, lads. Cheers.
Shadow stinks, Simsy. Thanks very much, guys. Much appreciated, all 4 of you.
Take care, man.
Take care, guys. Appreciate you. All the best.
No worries, guys. Have a great night.
See you later.
Good night.
Thanks, everyone, for joining in the very first TreeCast. And we will catch you all on the very next one. Take care. Peace out.
Bye.
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 Sims is very quiet, nothing to say. Typical. he fell asleep. Bless him, he fell asleep.
Yeah,
Night,
he can't
guys.
sleep. Night.
Night. Night.